right, Felipe, it's been a long week, right? It's finally coming to an end.
We're
Right.
wrapping up.
We are wrapping up. I have on my I'm done with the business side of things today. Now it's time to wrap up and get to having some fun in
Yeah,
Vegas.
yeah, Greg.
Right. But before we do that, let's, give our viewers an opportunity to get a better understanding of what we heard, what we learned, and hopefully we give them something that they can take away, whether they were here or not, or whether they viewed it online or not, right? And so we're going to get in here and really chop it up and start talking about what did we learn, what did we see, what are the good, bad, and the ugly things that happened at Adobe Summit in 2025.
So yesterday's recap, we covered some of the big messaging, right? AI being deployed across the full spectrum of customer experience, personalization at scale, and essentially showing a huge range of possibilities. But we were left with a lot of questions, right? And I think today it was more focused on narrowing down the type of applications, showing some proof of customers that have already been adopting this technology. So something that people may not understand is that even though some of these technologies are being deployed into production into the wide array of customers, Adobe has already been working with some select customers that were on stage today, and we're able to share the results from what we saw announced yesterday.
Yep. Yeah, we moved from the art of what's possible to now how are people actually going to be using these things? All right.
Okay, so how are people going to adopt this? So I think what we got from our couple of days here is one, getting Adobe's take on what is possible, but also speaking to I think over 25 practitioners that we had access. So could you share a little bit about how those two worlds meet between sort of the vendor driven dialogue and what we're hearing from people in the event floor?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me there was a lot of big takeaways, right? As we talk about, it's by design when you go to these conferences that they want to show you the art of what's possible, right? They want to show you what's sexy, what's exciting, what you could possibly do, right? And so we did spend day one a lot talking about that. Day two, to your point, we talked to a lot of practitioners. It was really about like, all right, what are the practical or if not pragmatic ways that you're actually implementing these things today? And how are you thinking about these things that you're learning and hearing about for tomorrow? And tomorrow could be next month, it could be next year, right? It's all relative based on where your organization is. So again, we talked about how pervasive and accessible these things are across the entire marketing organizations, across these technology teams. We talked about how Adobe has made a lot of advancements to make it a lot more intuitive, and a lot of these platforms are much easier to use, and there's something for everyone, right? What we didn't hear a lot about as we talked to some of the practitioners, the things they were still asking were, but what is the adoption framework? How do we actually take this into our organization? And right now, there's still a lot of conversation that's focused on the people that are already true believers, right? You're preaching to a choir of a group of folks that are already here, right? That are already embracing AI. But what about everybody else, right? And so they're asking the question like, hey, you don't have to convince me. I got to go back now and convince everyone else. No matter how great these tools seem, and they really are, how do I get that? So I'm going to ask you, what is your take? What should we be doing? How did we think about adoption framework for this?
So first of all, I think that some companies may want to wait and see, right? You may have a passive approach and say, let's wait until others show us concrete proof that this really makes business sense, that there is value to be generated, and that it's definitely something worthwhile. But the problem is that the speed of change and the potential value generated may mean that it's too late, right? I was talking to you before around agents, and we were talking about agents, and a lot of people are skeptical about the value of AI agents, right? AI technology that does things on your behalf. And in many cases, the success stories are not being documented. So people are not eager to go out on camera and say, look, I built this agent that is giving me these huge results.
So what about the B2B side?
Yeah.
What about the laggards?
They're dramatically different, right? And when you talk to B2B executives, they see B2C as something that's probably not as applicable to them. You see that you understand that some of these tools were built with B2C in mind. And today we had a few announcements around the B2B focus for some of these tools. And in one of the keynotes, it was mentioned that we're getting into this B2B 3.0, right? B2B 1.0 is like having a customer record, right? The old days of just having a CRM is good, right? B2B 2.0 is like having a funnel and optimizing the funnel and having account-based marketing and marketing automation. And we're getting into this B2B 3.0 where the full customer lifecycle can be impacted with these digital technologies. And this is done via the use of AI. And today, Adobe released and announced versions for B2B. So I think that is going to help as an adoption reference, knowing that some of these products are tailored to B2B.
I mean, I absolutely agree. I sat in on a session for Blue Acorn ICI was with a client, Aramark, and they were B2B, and they were having this conversation. They were talking about, I don't know the exact, I'm going to probably butcher the numbers here, right? But they basically, the person on stage, she said that, we basically we have 1,000 customers who have the expectation that they get 1,000 different personalized experiences, right? There's a lot of organizations that send teams out here to learn about these tools and then bring them back, right? And again, they still face the same problem. The groups that come out here, they're going to see the art of what's possible. They're going to see all the things they could do, all the things that they probably should do. But then where they're going to get back is, all right, now how do I navigate the politics internally? You cannot go back into your organization and say, I learned all these great things at this conference. And in 2 years, man, just you wait. It's going to be awesome. You need to go back and use these powerful tools and say, look what we can do in the next 2 weeks. I bet you we can do X in the next 2 weeks. Define what that thing is. Give them accelerated time to value. And you're going to see adoption a lot, take off a lot faster than you would with any other transformation, any other technology, because you can actually show value quicker. So that's my advice to these organizations.
Greg, thank you so much. I appreciate that we could set up the time. I know it's been a busy week, but I think we have covered the main points from the conference, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks and see what other content we're going to be coming out with based on the interviews we did with practitioners and industry leaders.
I think it's going to be pretty exciting, man. I think people are going to learn a lot, and I'm just hopeful that people lean into these tools. So thanks.